Hello, I'm Wendy, and this is Summer Bay Studio. Today first let me apologize for my summer togs. It's actually 40 degrees Celsius here today. I live in Western Canada where we are not used to temperatures like that. I've got my air conditioning on and it's barely holding its own, and the temperature is supposed to still keep rising. So if you live in Fahrenheit, 40 degrees is 104 Fahrenheit. I thought I would get started here in the morning, but I've got to stay cool because the day is long. Today I am working in acrylics again. Before I get started though, I wanted to sort of do an update on my sketchbook that I did a couple of videos ago. And if you saw that one, this is the sketchbook that I'm talking about. And I did the trial page, which is in the back, this one, and I closed it, put the book away. I wanted to see how sticky it was. Well, it turns out it was way too sticky, because when I opened it again, it actually pulled off bits of paint. And so I had done, like, gone over it with this gloss polymer medium. I don't have any varnish, which apparently is the thing. So when I found out that that didn't work, I put some of this acrylic polymer emulsion matte medium on the pages to see if that would make a difference, and it didn't seem to do anything. So I'm clearly barking up the wrong tree. However, I went online and did a search for how to keep acrylics from being sticky, and someone suggested just powdering it, which is okay. Powder absorbs moisture. And the only thing, I thought of cornstarch, but cornstarch can get gooey. So I used this Ulta Beauty mattifying powder, translucent powder, and just kind of spread it over there. It did make a difference to the feel of it. It does feel much less sticky. So I've closed it up to see how well that lasts. So anyway, like I said when I started this, it's an experiment in a lot of things. Today I'm working on a little canvas that I've had for quite a long time actually, and not long ago I did just a bit of color kind of smooshing for a background layer. I had no plan. This is like a no plan. I just wanted to try some things and see what would happen. It is nice and dry because it's been a few weeks. So I'm going to just try some things, try putting some layers on and see what comes up. So let's get started. So to start with, I just got out a bunch of paints. I'm just going to do a floral and quite abstract. So I'm starting with, I think I'll start with this Naples yellow. When it comes to yellows, Naples yellow is probably my favorite shade. I'm just trying things, so I'm going to make this bigger floral. Don't ask me what kind of flower this would be. Doesn't matter. It's an abstract flower, let's say that. Let's put a little bit of this brilliant yellow in. Most of these paints I bought at Michael's or at Staples, and you know, I wouldn't say they're professional quality because I know there's better ones, but because I'm basically starting from scratch with acrylics again. Well, not quite scratch. I mean, I used to work with them years ago, but I decided not to invest a lot of money in them. Now, orange, which is not really my favorite color, I'm going to use anyway. Just mix a little bit here. because we all know that the center of a flower has more intense color. All right, I think I'll do another one over here. And then put a little pink in it. I'm really trying to be more abstract. And I've been representational with my watercolors for so long that I have to loosen up, and that's my goal with this, is just loosen up. This is a bit of Persian rose. There's actually really no way you can avoid making a mess when you're an artist. You just can't. Art is messy. This is nice. I'm going to have to get some bigger brushes. That much I know. Put sort of a rose down here. Sorry if I'm not very talkative this morning. We discovered on the weekend that our car, well, I went to get groceries on Friday, and in 20 minutes the car air conditioning had just barely started to get warm. So and then it was like, okay, well, we went to church on Sunday, and it was better. But it still took a long time. So, of course, I tried to get it in somewhere on Monday, and they said, well, no, you can bring it in next Monday. So I said, well, okay, what can you do? Could have gone somewhere else, but it's so inconvenient because I live in a small town and we do have services here. If I can get it done here, I really prefer to do that, because not only does it support local businesses, but it's so much more convenient for me, because if I go to the next town, I'm going to have to, sit around in some garage for however long it takes them to do the job, which could be half a day or whatever. And, in this heat, it's no thank you. I need more flowers. I need something maybe over here. Let's see what happens with the pink and orange. If we get sort of an apricot blossom. That's nice. I like that. Again, I'm like, okay, how do I loosen this up, put more color into it? And I think part of the trick is to work fast. So I'm trying to do that. And these are no-name flowers. When you go to the grocery store and you want the cheapest brand, at the store I shop at most of the time, they have no-name brand, which is what I'm doing here. This is no-name flowers. So you can buy no-name flower, and this is no-name flowers. I like the look of that with this pink streaks on the side. See, this is just what's in the brush, because I'm just going from one thing to the next. The great thing about acrylics is if you don't like the color, you can paint over it. Unlike in watercolor, you better know what you're doing when you start. Okay, that makes a nice beginning, I think. And I might put more on here, but I'm going to move into making some leaves. I've got this little brush. I'm going to mix some blue and green, since I have this blue background. do a bit of this blue. And this is fluorescent green. Not sure I want to go there. And this one is just called Brilliant Green, which is a pretty apt name, I would say. So a little bit of that and a little bit of that. I think that's pretty good. Let's just try some little viney kind of things. Kind of twirling my brush, holding it really lightly. Obviously, I'm not aiming for making it too realistic or too perfect. So I've been watching All Creatures Great and Small, which I got on video from the library, and really enjoying it again. You know, we saw the original version, James Herriot version, which is, well, came out years ago. It was long enough ago that you kind of forget what it was like, so you don't have to compare and say, oh, this one was better. Although I have to say with Anne of Green Gables, the older ones are better. Not really all that impressed with the new versions, or the newest version. It's too much of a departure. In fact, I kind of quit watching it because they took some of the sort of loveliness of it away, I think. Tried to make it more sinister and, I don't know, put stuff in the story that wasn't there originally. Which I suppose is, you know, artistic license, but when you're kind of a fan, you don't like them to mess with it too much. And it is a Canadian sort of icon, our dear Anne. More from, obviously, the East Coast, because it was in Prince Edward Island. So how am I doing here? I think it needs more depth. How can I get more depth? I know, I've got a darker green. Let's see that. When I started buying paint, I didn't start with a list in mind at all. I just went and picked up colors I like, because my theory is, I mean, it always has been with art, is if you choose what you love, you'll create what you love, and then you'll love what you created. But if you try to follow someone else's idea of what you should be doing and what colors you should have, you probably find yourself quite frustrated quite quickly. And when I first started in watercolors many years ago, I just got a book from the library. I mean, I've always been artistic and done art, but I got a book from the library, and you know, the author said, go buy these paints. Well, there were multiple shades of, let's just call it brown. Well, personally, I'm not a brown fan. I don't wear anything brown except for I might have a pair of shoes. But I quickly learned that brown and me are not a good mix, because I don't like those shades. I like that better. That's nice. I think I need a little something in here. I also want to put in some larger leaves, and since roses have larger leaves, I'll do that over here with this rose. This paint has, this color has, what's it called? Permanent Green Deep. It's not a very, you know, poetic name, but it has just a tint of blue in it. Okay, now composition wise, I think it needs a bit of a fill in here, and maybe just a little bit more of a trailing vine down this way. Yeah, that looks nice. I think I'm just going to let this dry for the moment and come back to it because I haven't had breakfast yet and I'm getting hungry. There, I'm back. I just spritzed my paint with water before I took a break. And oddly enough, I'm looking at my painting from above because of my camera angle, and it really helps to see where it needs something. So I'm going to put something up in here, I think, and then we'll see. It's coming together. I think I would like, yeah, I need something a little darker in here. This is already getting a skin on it. The joys of acrylic paint. I tell you, it's a big learning curve for me. A relearning curve. Because I've been away from them for so long. I've been basically in love with watercolor for years. But this year I just wanted to branch out, and I've been experimenting with different things. So I've got some junk journal videos and I've got some mixed media. I'm leaning more and more towards mixed media and acrylic, so that's probably what you can expect to see more of from me. Oh, that's pretty. That's really pretty. This one needs a bit more as well. It's almost looks like a double flower, but it's really supposed to be two different flowers that kind of grow close together. Okay, I want more depth in here, and I think I will add even a little bit of this fluorescent red. Just a tiny bit. Just gives it a different color. I like it actually. Now then comes the petal part, which requires some variations in color. I'm standing here. I always work standing up at my table. It's quite high, like it's chest high almost. And I just find it's easier for movement. I do have a stool I could sit on. You might think roses aren't this dense, but I grow roses, and believe me, some of them are extremely dense and just packed with petals. I want to put in a bit of black. Mixed with probably green. That makes the most peculiar color. This needs some center interest, as does this one. I also want to put a little bit more darkness in here. I have a little fan here that I'm using to keep myself cool under the lights, but it's also drying the paint, so that's not going to work so well. I don't want that to happen. One thing I learned about watercolors and about writing books is there's the ugly middle. That's when it feels like nothing is working, it looks terrible, you're convinced you have no talent, skill, or ability, and you want to throw in the towel and quit. That's what I call the ugly middle. And it's important to remember to keep going, because that ugly middle will resolve as you keep working. Now, if you get to the end and you still don't like it, that's a bit different story. But in the middle, it's important to realize you're just in the doldrums. You know, it's just part of the process that you end up feeling like this is never going to work. See, it just goes to show you, you can have an idea and it sometimes just doesn't turn out like you expected. So what do? Well, you just move on. Just do something else. So I put that darker green in there and I did not like it. Wiped a bunch of it off, you know, but I could, because it dries so quickly, it's hard to keep up, and I do want this kind of mottled effect. And this is too sort of purpley for me because of the pink underneath, so we'll just get rid of it. Like that. Shows through a little bit, but since, as I said, it's not my favorite thing anyway, I'm quite happy to just cover it up. And I'm just putting some of this aqua color over here to tie these colors together so that it's not just all blue, all whatever. All right, one thing I want to do is just to make this a little less perfect, and I'm going to use, wait a minute, I bought these plastic things, which are always hard to get off. I bought this little bottle of satin acrylic paint in titanium white because my other whites are all so sticky. They need a little thinning. And what I want to do is, if I can find my brush, what do I do with my brush? Here it is. I want to just highlight these a little bit. That might be a bit too white. And once I looked at the painting, I thought the rose is too circular, too perfectly circular. So, because petals will go in all directions, not just in a pinwheel. I have these iridescent colors. There's the blue, which I think will get lost, and the green, which I think will be nice and subtle. And so I'm going to just choose one of these. That one might be a bit big because it lands on there. This one I think is nice, but maybe a little bit small. And these are adhesive and reusable. So I'm going to just put it here where I might want it. Okay, I think that's going to work. I'm going to put out some of this iridescent green paint. I'm going to use a different brush. I'm just dabbing this on. Now I could probably do it differently. How could I do it differently? A sponge perhaps, or a little tiny brayer, which I don't own. I'm making sure that it gets in all those little shapes, like the centers and whatnot. Now I'm going to let it dry for just a couple of minutes. Just hold it up to my fan here, and then I'll put another coat on. Okay, I've put another coat on this, and it's probably almost dry, but I'm going to leave it for the moment. And I decided I would like to put just a few more little tendrils in here, and I could use a colored pencil, but it doesn't go on. It doesn't stay very well. It just doesn't work very well. So I'm using a Sharpie, which is permanent marker, and I just want to put some little things like little kind of squiggles. That would be like a vine. Just to give it a little bit more detail. And I'm just using a green marker. And just randomly adding little touches. And I think that might be enough. I feel like it needs a little something down here, but that's probably all. Yeah, like you can overdo that so quickly. Okay, now I want to take this off, so I'm just going to lift it very carefully. and put it back on the little sheet that it came on so it can be reused. And that's the result. And because acrylics are basically plastic, it actually is in relief a little bit. I'm just not happy with one spot here, and that is right in here. I feel like it's just not working. So covering up this pink or this dark green is going to be a trick. But I'm going to do it anyway with just thicker paint. For some reason it just bothered me that there's no flower that actually grows like this that I know of. So I'm filling it in. I actually should make it a little bit different, but for now, this is my plan. I'm not sure if I'll do anything more with that or not, but I just had to kind of fix that. And I probably will do a little bit more work on it, but right now I think the rest of it is finished. And I hope that you enjoyed the video. I hope that you took away some tips that you could use and just get rid of the fear of experimenting. Please subscribe to my channel and click the little bell so you can get notified when I have another video, and I'll see you next time.